You're listening to Agile Ideas, the podcast, hosted by Fatimah. For anyone listening out there not having a good day, please know there is help out there. Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Agile Ideas. I'm Fatimah, CEO at Agile Management Office, Mental Health Ambassador, and your host. This podcast is made possible thanks to Agile Management Office. We help businesses in three key ways: improving organizational culture and project delivery. We help support program transformations and change and streamline governance and inefficient process, doing so using our proven AMO way model. We've helped companies all around the world across multiple industries. You can learn more about us at our website, www.agilemanagementoffice.com. In today's episode, to coincide with 7-year anniversary of Agile Management Office, I thought that I would take you back and help you understand the journey that has been Agile Management Office. Is this especially helpful for those that may be thinking about moving into business themselves? Perhaps you're part of a small business, or maybe you are in a larger organization and have a desire to one day maybe be your own boss as well. So in this episode, I'm going to talk you through the last 7 years and give you an overview in one or two key learnings or lessons of the things that I focused on year by year as my business continued to grow, and help you understand how I took the business from where it was completely bootstrapped to get it to a 7-figure business. So let's kick off and we'll go back to 2016 where it all started. In 2016 was not the first year that my business journey started, but rather the first year of Agile Management Office as an organization. But if I take you back a few years earlier, it was around 2011 or 2012, where I was working in corporate and just wanted freedom over my own salary and over my own work. And I thought, what better way to do that than to go into business? And at that point in time, I knew nothing more than perhaps I needed a website. And I remember working with a graduate at that time and actually asked him to help me build a website, to which he was very happy to oblige. So I started my business journey just over 10 years ago. And when I first started business, it was quite daunting and was something that I really didn't understand. I didn't know much about business other than watching my parents growing up, where they themselves had gone through their own business journeys. My mum had created a number of different entrepreneurial businesses, selling things from home, reselling products, tutoring students, all sorts of things. She was one of the popular Victorian salespeople for Mary Kay, amongst a number of other things. My dad, on the other hand, he started his career in business very much so by following in my uncle's footsteps and supporting him in what is one of the most popular photography, videography studios in Australia, particularly for the Lebanese community. So watching my parents and my families around me doing things that sounded like what business is, I just had this passion for being able to work for myself in a way where I was in control of both the success and the failures that I would have along that journey, because that way I could only hold myself accountable. So then moving forward from that early stage where I thought about what I needed to do in business, all I knew other than the website is perhaps I needed to get some advice. And I remember seeking out some mentorship from the Small Business Mentoring Service, which was a low-cost Victorian state government-led mentoring program. And they paired me up with a mentor that had a number of different interests that were similar to those that I had. And I remember meeting my mentor, who was just an absolutely lovely gentleman who was nearing retirement and was so thoughtful and kind in giving back, and till this day still puts up with my crazy ideas. So with nothing much more than a website and a mentor on my side, I started to experiment in what was business for the first few years before 2016. And I did so while maintaining and continuing to hold a full-time job. And that was really important because a lot of the time I'm thinking about mitigating risks. And when you're mitigating risks, you need to make sure that you're in a position to be able to support yourself, both financially as well as in other capacities, so that you are in the business, growing it, but really taking the leap of faith once you've got a number of guardrails around you. So moving forward from that sort of 2012 period, I continued to work in the large corporate businesses, but it was in 2016 where at this point, I can really, really pinpoint the time where the thing that I do really well, and that is helping organizations manage more efficiently and effectively projects and programs of all sizes and scales, and doing so by establishing project management offices to help them streamline the way delivery is done, was something I was doing now for many years and was doing a really good job of it based on the recurring feedback I was receiving in corporate at the time. So in 2016, after a very successful large global program of work where I led the project management office function across multiple countries with a very small team, and doing so with a very small budget, I realized that I could take the principles of this and apply it into business. And as I was working within this large corporate, I remember having numerous conversations with a number of managers there, talking about the fact that the function of the project management office was being done inefficiently. And the reason for that is because across the organization, we had people doing the exact same role in 100 different ways. And I just thought the repetitive nature of project management offices meant that we could have standardization, but also flexibility that enabled us to drive positive change in a way that was not so wasteful. And I remember speaking to many people about that. And unfortunately, despite my numerous attempts to try to convince them, as a contractor, wasn't taken as seriously. And I remember myself and the numerous portfolio directors I was working with at the time decided that this was just not going to work out. And so it was then that I decided that I would take the leap of faith and move on from this organization and go into the business full time. Through the simple word of mouth of the work that I'd done to date, I was put into a really good position where it was suggested by a friend who had then referred me to an organization that was looking for some significant help on their programs and projects. And it was then in 2016 where I had to not only submit my first ever tender, but also learn a little bit more about planning, risk mitigation, and sales. So 2016 was all about tenders, sales, and planning. So thinking about the work that happened in that first year, I had to have a plan for how I would survive after leaving my full-time job. And that was something I took very seriously. I identified a number of possible risks that could happen, thinking about worst case scenario, and working backwards, identified some steps that I could take to help address those should they have arisen. In addition to that, in addition to the planning and the risk, I realized that one of the first things I needed to do was bring in some sales. And at that point, it was really sales through word of mouth more than anything else. Especially in the corporate environment, in the service-based business, it takes a really long time to build up awareness and interest in your products and services. And also, even after you've gained that interest and desire by the organization, it sometimes takes them months to take action. And that includes setting you up as a vendor, bringing in contracts, getting legal across it, and so forth. So that was a really early lesson in the first year of my business Agile Management Office. In that same year, I was also invited to a closed tender, which means I was one of very few companies that had the opportunity to register their interest in applying to support an organization in their overarching requirements of supporting the enterprise program and project management office in identifying and undertaking a portfolio and program and project assessment across the company, as well as developing out a benefits framework. So a closed tender gives you a guaranteed opportunity to be one of very few companies, as opposed to open tenders, which go out further and farther. And so writing a tender was something I'd never done before. So my first year lesson was all about what is the tender process, what's involved in it, how to research the tender itself, the company and the industry, and then working through categorically to define the answers necessary in order to complete the tendered paperwork and submit something that would be useful and articulate and then well received by the client. And I didn't have much time to do that in between moving on from the full-time corporate role. And it was then that I took the plunge, completed the tender, obtained some advice from those around me that I knew would know a little bit more about this space. And then as a result, was really fortunate and successful in securing the tender with this organization. So my first year of business, my key advice is around making sure you have a plan and that you think about the risk mitigations that you need to have in case things don't go the way that you expect them to go. And then thinking about sales. Your sales may not come from tenders the way mine do in a service-based environment, but just thinking about sales. Where are your sales going to come from? How are you going to get in front of your customers? How are you going to advertise to those customers? And how are you going to make them aware of what you can do? So there you have it. That's the first year of business and my lessons around 2016. Moving on to 2017. It was this year where I realized that more than ever, I needed to really hone in and refine my unique value proposition and expand my networks. So I'd always been someone who was quite social and had spent a lot of time building up my LinkedIn network and my networking frameworks, and had been involved in a number of different business groups up until this point. Though what I didn't have clearly articulated was my unique value proposition. Why is this important? Well, unless you just want to be like every other business, there needs to be something that helps you to stand out. And that is honing in on what makes you you and what makes your business stand out from the competition. For me, the unique value proposition was something that I'd been playing with over the last decade, and that was my unique and proprietary model, the AMO way, previously known as AMO method. The AMO way model is now a proprietary model that I've developed over the last 20 years and has continued to iterate year on year on year in this business based on live customer feedback and experiences that my team and I have gained over the years. And it was why in 2017, my focus was around really honing in on my unique value proposition, and having something like a proprietary model or method is enabling us to be a business that has some defensible IP and also helps to drive interest in the products and services we offer because they are unique. So in addition to our unique value proposition, I also focused on building greater networks. Now, in particular of a service-based business in corporate, as I mentioned earlier, it takes a really long time to build up interest, let alone action around bringing you on board into your organization, and actually getting customers to sign you up. And there's a number of reasons for that. And it takes a lot of effort. I know I've been on the other side where I've onboarded vendors, and it is really a lot of paperwork, a lot of headache. As a lot of larger companies have panels and have a number of different suppliers that are already pre-registered. So they don't really want to go through the hassle of finding other companies and bringing them on board. The only reason that companies continued to work with Agile Management Office and onboard them as a new supplier, which was a lot of work, is because we built networks and built trust with customers, both past and present, and continued to get repeat customers who, with positive feedback, were willing to push organizations to bring us on board because they'd seen the value that we were able to provide. So 2017 was all about unique value proposition and networks. Moving on to 2018, it was in this year where we realized that not only did we now have a proprietary model that we then embedded in organizations with great results, but it was about how do we get more awareness around the products and services we offer, but also about the insights and learnings that we were identifying. And it was in this year that I decided to launch Agile Ideas, which is our thought leadership hub. Agile Ideas is all about podcasts, this podcast, YouTube videos, content sharing, blogs, events, meetups, and so much more. It's the way that we funnel communication, content, and marketing collateral, mostly based on thought leadership within our knowledge areas and capabilities, and really help to bring to market insights based on learnings from organizations we're working within and from experiences we were having as a team. Agile Ideas was born and initially started as a very small podcast and has now grown quite significantly with thousands of people in our mailing list, thousands of people listening to this podcast, and thousands of people now subscribe to our newest version of Agile Ideas, the newsletter on both LinkedIn and also through our mailing list. So it has been something that has taken a lead of its own and has grown significantly. And it was in this year also that I realized in order to really hone in on how we can define our market and communicate to our market, where I seeked some advice and guidance from a senior marketing advisor who gave some insights that was really relevant specifically for our industry and had proven experience to back the knowledge that she shared. So in 2018, it was all about content and marketing. Moving forward to 2019, this year, it was all about systems and structure as well as partnerships. So in 2019, as we continued to grow and adding additional team members, I realized that the systems and processes that I was implementing for large organizations in corporate needed to also be built and defined for Agile Management Office. And it was in this year that I started emphasizing the importance of systems and structures. And prior years, I had focused on marketing content. This year was all about people. So this is where I introduced and developed a very comprehensive, detailed process for people and culture activities, including recruitment, as well as launching the AMO People brand, which is part of the Agile Management Office group. And AMO People was born out of a need for customers who kept asking for support in resource augmentation or finding people to fill roles that they were not finding via traditional means, particularly when we were working in specialist areas such as the payment space, and they found that what they were getting in the market was not what they needed. And that is why we decided to formalize the offering we were providing to customers and launch AMO People, that has been growing very much behind the scenes in stealth mode, but has really helped us to shape not only the systems and tools around this, but also to build the framework and the systems and structure needed to help us continue to grow and add additional personnel over the coming months and years to come. It was in this year as well that a European top 75 university, Aarhus University, and one of the professors there of international project management paid attention to what we were doing and had an interest in collaborating. And it was through then that we just embarked on a journey of partnership. And it was that partnership that saw us committing to a joint memorandum of understanding with Aarhus University, Denmark, where since that time we've continued to evolve this partnership and create a number of different content and opportunities, including launching our work study program, where we worked with their students over a course of several semesters to actually launch not only the work study program that led to the union changing the rules around how they conducted their exams within this university, but also to actually work with them to evolve not only some of their thinking and the academia side, but bringing in a corporate lens that really helped the students to understand how to apply project management in that setting. And we also had the opportunity as well, in addition to that, to not only support their students from afar, but have some of their students intern with us at Agile Management Office. So 2019 was all about people, partnerships, and systems and structure. And it was this systems and structure that helped us to evolve our business into 2020. Where in 2020, we went on to win several awards, both at a state and a national level, for some of the work we had done with one of Australia's largest supermarkets chains, Coles Group, where jointly we won an award for the work that we had done to establish an Agile Management Office function within their business to help grow and evolve their payments division. And that award win, or multiple award wins, really set the foundations and helped to demonstrate the success of the AMO way model and just exactly how it helps organizations, which led to ongoing work with Coles and has been a great opportunity to work together ever since. But 2020, as we continued to ramp up the work we were doing with larger businesses, we really needed to make sure we bettered down our financials, operating structures, and systems. So it was here where we decided to evolve the financials, the payroll, the bookkeeping, all of the systems around accounts receivable, accounts payable, vendor management, all of the things that I'd learned to do within corporate and actually applying them with a small business lens. And of course, there were a number of instances where I needed to seek help, being not an expert in this space by any means. In fact, one of the subjects I disliked the most growing up in secondary college. So I decided to put in systems and processes in place. And most entrepreneurs and business owners sometimes don't differentiate between their business financials and their personal financials. And that is a big mistake that I made early on in business. So I highly recommend that if you are doing business, that you separate the two. And you can do that simply by making sure that you have different accounts, different account keeping processes, and also that you pay yourself separately. So in 2020, as we optimized our financials, we brought on our bookkeeper and we also brought on our virtual accountant / CFO and continued to work with them to evolve our systems and processes and really better down our account keeping platforms and also our timesheeting system and all of the other systems associated with accounts receivable and payable services. And that really helped to relieve the pressure on me as a CEO from having to be across every aspect on my own, but actually the systems and processes meant we had clarity around our month-end cycles, as well as the way we reported to the ATO, as well as the way that we managed our financial reporting on behalf of clients. So 2020 was all about optimizing financials, and it really did help set the foundations for what was to come, and that is continued growth that moved into 2021. In 2021, it was about focusing on sales and sales optimization. And one of the things that we did in this year of focusing on sales optimization was actually working with a sales advisor, someone who temporarily helped us as part of winning a scholarship with the American Express Rare Birds community. I was successful in securing 1 year of free mentoring through that community. And that sales advisor was really good in helping to provide some insights and context around what we were doing, how we were doing it, and provide advice so we can refine our sales processes, because sales and marketing can often be blurred. And we know we need to lead with sales and then the marketing will follow. It was in this year as well that we developed our product roadmaps, our product funnels, and really honed in on our strategic objectives around what we were going to sell and how we were going to reach our customers both locally and abroad. And it was in this year as well that, in addition to increasing our sales processes and systems and tools, as well as introducing a very comprehensive customer relationship management tool that had been phenomenal for us ever since we started using it. But it was also the year that I decided to launch a partnership with and co-found with my business partner in the US, the PMO Leader Community, a community for global PMO insight, networking, and idea sharing globally. And it's a community that has really helped to generate interest in not only what we do as a business, but also to help drive awareness overall for the work that we do as thought leaders in this space. In addition to partnering with the PMO Leader Community, I also decided to launch a not-for-profit, which we're still evolving and have incrementally built, Return of the Panda, and launching our first product, the exclusive and unique coping cards. And those coping cards have been tested and leveraged by a number of different people and have received some great feedback. And the hope with that is to grow the Return of the Panda brand in the coming years and continue to support and advocate for mental health. So 2021 was all about sales optimization. And to do that, you need to bring on more partners and also develop new service streams and products. And that is what we did with the PMO Leader and the Return of the Panda. And it was in this year as well that we continued to work with the university to bring on additional interns who helped to support that vision. Moving forward to 2022, this is where we realized that our business was starting to take a mind of its own. We were starting to get a lot more word of mouth interest, and we were starting to get a lot more excited about all of the different things that we could deliver: products, services, our unique value proposition, evolving our AMO way model, bringing on more people, partnering with more companies, speaking about our services, but also sharing our thought leadership insights and knowledge. Now, as you can imagine, there's a lot going on at this point, and there's a lot more demand for the work that we are doing, because what we're doing is really unique in the sense that it's driving awareness around agile governance, which is something we've been talking about for many years now, but also helping companies to bed down processes and frameworks that support their ways of working. In 2022, in addition to embedding and establishing some of our training and coaching offerings for businesses and launching our unique proprietary board game, we also brought on a strategic advisor who is an ex-Gartner executive who we've worked with successfully to help reshape the vision, the mission, and also our objectives and key results for the years moving forward. Someone that came in and did an external review of our business end to end and provided some thoughts and insights to help shape what the business is going to look like moving forward. So in 2022, it was about strategic direction and refinement, and also evolving to keep up with the times now that we're starting to see some of the world returning to a pre-COVID environment. 2022 was also a big year because we were able to secure a number of different engagements, many of those new engagements with customers who had heard about the work we'd done through our case studies or through word of mouth. And then finally, as we move into 2023 and we embark on our now moving into our almost 7.5 years of business, for me, this year is about scale and automation, and doing so through advancing the leadership and also using technology. So we know as a business that everything is moving at a rapid pace, and that technology is moving at a rapid pace. And although we are a service-based business, we're now starting to leverage the tools and technology we have in our business to evolve the way that we work, not only within our business, but also with our customers. And that includes offering products and tools that help customers to manage everything from their compliance requirements in an automated way to systems and processes, and also streamlining the way that they work and the way that they work with us. To do that and take on the next leg of this journey and scale this business, it's all about enhancing my leadership and the leadership of my team. And so this is why we are now working with Leadership Advisor and Performance Coaching to really help grow this business and take it to the next level by focusing on the things that are going to take us towards our vision and the outcomes that we're trying to achieve, and away from the things that have held us back. And over this course of this year, although we're only halfway there, we've seen a very good interest in a lot of the coaching programs that we have been evolving and look to share more about in the coming months as well. So scaling is one of the things we help companies do, especially those that are small to mid-size, or maybe they're mid-size and they have sought investment and have been able to grow their business. And now they need the structure, foundations, and frameworks to help them go to that next level. So in order to help them do that, we take the insights we've learned in our business and also help them to implement those in their businesses as well. So it hasn't been an easy journey. It has been an absolute roller coaster of emotions, and it has been an absolute ball of joy despite all of the ups and downs, even during COVID, where we had some significant setbacks and had to reduce our team. But all in all, it's been a really crazy roller coaster is probably the best way I can describe it, of a business. And the best thing is, what I set out to achieve as a business owner was to have freedom and autonomy. And that is something I've definitely had. Would I change anything I've done? Probably not. One of the most proudest moments is knowing that we've been able to do all of that as a bootstrapped business, meaning that we have not taken investment, external funding or investment of any sort that has been a way to grow the business. It's all been through customer engagement and bringing on new opportunities, partnerships, products, and services. So all in all, there you have it, my 7 years and 7 lessons from the journey that has been growing Agile Management Office into the business it has become. And ultimately, the growth that we are on now is going to continue to evolve based on the market, based on feedback from clients, based on feedback from the team, and just all in all, based on the learnings that we're having. I believe that every year in business is a year to iterate and learn, and not to be fixated on what you did last year, but to learn from it. And doing so will help take your business to the next level. So whether or not you are in a business today, you have a desire to be one tomorrow, or maybe you're just working as part of his business, just know that there is a lot of hard work that goes on behind the scenes. And especially if you are like me, someone who doesn't have a university degree, doesn't have any external funding, didn't get any real assistance from any source, but really had to figure it out along the way on her own with some really special people who gave me advice every step of the way. So hope you've enjoyed this episode on all things 7 years and 7 lessons. I would love to hear your feedback. Please leave me a comment, connect with me on LinkedIn, send me an email of any sort. I would really be keen to hear what your thoughts are and if you are in a similar boat at the moment. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Please share this with someone or rate it if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to follow us on social media, and to stay up to date with all things Agile Ideas, go to our website www.agilemanagementoffice.com. I hope you've been able to learn, feel, or be inspired today. Until next time, what's your Agile idea?